Hello, hello, hello. We meet again. How is everybody? It's good to see you guys. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. All right. So, what a day, what a day, what a day. Man, Boone. She didn't even do anything this time. This time it was all her attorney. And I have to say, this is probably the most I've ever seen an attorney advocate on behalf of one Sarah Boone, since she's been arrested. Okay. So it is whatever. But good for her, I guess. She's got a lawyer who is gonna, um, give her a vigorous defense. Woohoo! All right. So if you guys weren't there today, this afternoon, what had happened was several things. So Sarah Boone had a hearing, and the hearing was about many things, but the main points of the hearing were that the use of the battered spouse defense. Okay. And as the arguments were made, there was a lot of circular logic used by Sarah Boone's defense attorney surrounding the use of the battered spouse defense, because the battered spouse defense is an affirmative defense. It is where you are admitting that you killed the person, right? But there are extenuating circumstances. And battered spouse syndrome is about a thought process that essentially the victim of battered spouse syndrome does not think and view threats in the same way as somebody not suffering from battered spouse syndrome. Okay. Well, the problem with that is that part of the foundation of the battered spouse defense is the person is a threat to you, an imminent threat. Okay. And once Jose was in the suitcase, he was no longer a threat. But prior to that, all right, Sarah describes this ice cube. It was a good day camp activities. There was puzzles, arts and crafts, wine, dancing with the dog. What else did she say they did? Well, we're going to listen to her interrogation, but it was a good day. They were not fighting. They were not arguing. They were not pushing and shoving. Also, in this scenario, on that day, which is the day in question, the only person who had any injuries to their body was George, not Sarah. She had no injuries, none. And it was a good day. So the judge heard the arguments, and Sarah has a second attorney who, I meant to say, George, I'm sorry. I just finished watching the first episode of Monster, the Menendez brothers story, and Jose is in my brain. So my bad. George. I'm sorry. I apologize for misstating his name. So Sarah has a second attorney. Okay. And this second attorney has, and it might not have even been this attorney's fault, because after when the Mr. Lake from the JAC, when it was his turn to speak, who he was not scheduled to speak, but they ended up getting a hold of him. Anyway, the audio from the Zoom call was horrendous. Okay. It was loud to begin with. Okay. So it was awful and loud. It sounded to me like, when we watch all these interrogations, and when Dr. B and I would roast the interrogations and all the things, right? In almost every single interrogation video that I've watched, there's always some weird glitch. And I've always joked that it is, oh, there's that Dybbuk, the Dybbuk, a demon, and this is what it sounded like. This time it sounded like it was a demon who was arguing on behalf of Sarah Boone why they should be allowed to use the battered spouse syndrome. It was awful. And so, to be quite frank with you, I have no idea what his argument even was, or if it was a good argument, or I can't even have an opinion on whether or not I think the judge is going to rule in Sarah's favor on this, because I couldn't understand it, and the closed captions were right along with the rest of us on the struggle bus, and they weren't picking up. They were only picking up like every third or fourth word. And even then, I think they were only right like about 27% of the time. So it was awful. So I have no idea, but the judge, Judge Kranick, expects that he will have an answer probably by tomorrow. So you guys know that I will be constantly refreshing the Orange County Clerk of Courts page to make sure that when we get the answer, you guys get it first. I don't give a rat's fat kneecap what I'm doing. I will go live and we will talk about it, no matter what the answer is. Okay. Now, the other issue that was raised is it revolves around Sarah's interrogation. Okay. And Mr. Owens, which is Sarah's defense attorney, was sort of hinting around at whether or not he intends to file a motion to attempt to have her interrogation suppressed. But what he alleged is that and these are his words, the lead female detective used coercive language, potentially, and he isn't sure if Sarah was fully Mirandized, and that's why he is asking for Orange County Sheriff's Office policy and procedures on giving Miranda rights. And the judge pointed out, well, and so did the state, what difference does it make if she didn't follow Orange County Sheriff's policy and procedure as long as she followed the Supreme Court, the federal Supreme Court, and the Florida Supreme Court ruling on properly Mirandizing a subject? And I think the truth of the matter is that Owens is hedging his bets. Okay. See, with the battered spouse syndrome defense, right? If the interrogation video is not suppressed, if it is allowed in, the jury is going to hear about what a great day it was. She's going to hear about all the day camp activities that took place that afternoon into the evening. And at one point, and this I forgot until just now, George even left. He went down to Publix and bought wine. So they're going to hear that. They're also going to hear this multiple times.
No malicious.
Okay. Sarah contends in her interrogation video, and it's not just her interrogation video. Let's be very, very clear here. Let me get serious for just a moment, okay? Brace yourselves. It isn't just the interrogation video. From the very beginning of the day, from the 911 call all the way through until the interrogation video, Sarah has maintained that it was an accident. Okay. Well, you cannot accidentally use self-defense. You either are using self-defense or you are not using self-defense. Nobody accidentally defends themselves. They do it on purpose. They see a threat and they defend themselves, right? So you can't accidentally defend yourself. You can't have it both ways. Okay. And what I think that her attorney is attempting to do is hedge his bets. Okay. If he cannot get the interrogation video suppressed and it comes in, then he can say, well, members of the jury, yes, Sarah said these things, but they didn't follow their own policies and procedures. So can we really trust what Sarah said? No, because, this was a bad confession. It was bad. It was bad from the beginning. They told her that they called her up. She wanted her phone back. They told her they would bring her phone. When they didn't bring her phone, that she called up there, and the female detective who was pregnant at the time said, "I'm not feeling great. Can you come down to the office and pick it up yourself?" And then once Sarah was down there, they ushered her into a room, sat her down, and the interrogation began after they announced that they wanted to speak to her about the autopsy. Karen, thank you so much for the super sticker, babe. That was so generous. Oh, that's a good profile picture of you. Like, so pretty. Thank you so much. I love that that I changed the way that I see the you guys' comments and stuff, so I can see your profile pictures. I never could see them before. It's nice. It's like having a conversation, and I love it. All right. So, anyway, so she was, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, she thought she was down there for one reason and one reason only. And then boom, they hit her with the 1-2 buckle my shoe and sit her down in the chair and say, "We got questions about this autopsy," which we're going to go over. And we're going to watch this interrogation because, first of all, we're coming up on the trial. Okay. The next hearing related to the trial is September 26th, 2024. And that is literally 7 days from this date. And then 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then 11 days from then is, hear me counting. Then 11 days from that hearing will be the trial begins. That is when jury selection begins. And by the way, Judge Kranick already has a system that he intends to use for jury selection to streamline the process, which I like. Mr. Owens said he thinks they can seat a jury on the first day. So fantastic. Thank you, a million sparkles. Member for 30 months. That is a day oneer, y'all. Good old Looney Booney has a whole ass team now. Sure does. So we are going to go over this interrogation from the very beginning, and we're going to test the veracity of Mr. Owens' claims. Oh, one of the other things that Mr. Owens claimed was that Sarah, during the interrogation, repeatedly asked for her phone. And that was rather bullish of Owens. That's what the judge said. I really am enjoying Judge Cranick. I really, I hope that we get to see him again in another case. I really do. But thank you, boss lady. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Very generous. Thank you, babe. 10.0. So we're going to test it because I don't recall her asking for her phone to see the videos because she wanted to show the detectives what was on those on her phone that shows Jose. Geez, Jen, get the Menendez out of your brain. That shows George. There was evidence of George's attacks or coming at her or whatever. So I want to see what he said. I want to see what she says and how she says it and all of the things. Yes, Berto, this is how I remember it. Berto says, I don't think she asks for it, just repeatedly tells detectives to look at the photos/videos on it. Oh my gosh, look what the cat drug in. It's Vincent's missing ear. How are you? I have not seen you in 11 billion months of Sunday. How have you been? It's good to see you. Vincent's missing ear says, when you're sitting in an interrogation room, you have a right to grab a big glass of STFU, as they usually don't invite you for tea and cupcakes when your boyfriend was stuffed in a suitcase. Correct. Correct, Vincent's missing ear. So Sarah Bellin wants everybody to know she's just arguing for the sake of arguing tonight. Are you an Aquarius, Sarah? Because we do that. I know Aquarius, speaking as one, we will argue a point that we really don't even care about. We'll pick a side just to argue. So y'all be Sarah Bellum has chosen feisty today. She is spicy, y'all. Be careful. So, and she told Owen she was tricked to going in there. Okay. And speaking of phones, the other thing that that her attorney was asking for today is, well, how about that? Sarah's an Aquarius. And yep. All right. So the other thing that her attorneys asked for today, which was so ridiculous, I can't even believe that he took the time to put this in a motion. But he requested he wants the physical phone. He says that there are videos and text messages and pictures on there that show Sarah is a victim of DV at the hands of George, and he wants the physical, as well as there are contacts in that phone that are potential witnesses, and he wanted the actual factual phone. Well, that ain't how it works. They will not give over physical evidence to the defense that they intend to use in the trial. They intend to admit this as evidence because then the whole phone is compromised at that point, and they've already discussed this. Okay. And so basically, a lot of time was spent today by Owens lamenting and reminding the court and all of us that he joined the case late, as if we're new to the case. Bruh, we were there. We know. Stop reminding us. Okay? We know that you were late to the case, but you weren't appointed to the case. You chose to take the case. Remember that too, while you're remembering stuff. Sheesh. Remember it. Write it down. Take a picture. I don't give a fuck. So that happened. And the judge said, no, look, all these things have been availed to the defense for a long time. Now, you might be new to on as representing to Sarah, but this case has been going on for 4 years and 7 months. Okay. Which I find interesting because I always say things when they're an extreme amount of time. I only know 2 time periods, 11 billion or 7 years. That's the only time I know. So, but anyhow, so all this stuff has been, and then he was complaining about he's having trouble locating witnesses. Well, didn't you also go on court TV and also your interview out there in front of the courthouse on those steps and say that you watched a lot of YouTube, a lot of true crime YouTube? Why don't you reach out to YouTube? These people can find anybody in 27 seconds. And in fact, he's talking about how it's such a monumental amount of discovery, and he just is still not through it all, and he's having trouble. Call YouTube for that too. Hell, they'll listen. If he called me and gave me the discovery, I could be through the discovery in 48 hours tops. And then the cherry on top of this dumpster fire cake, the last thing that he said at the end of the day was he wanted Sarah to be able to wear street clothes. That's common. That's not the last thing he said. It was what he said after that. My client would also like to have hair and makeup. Somebody come in to do her, either have access to makeup and I guess styling, like a curling. I don't know what. Listen, Sarah, let's be realistic. Okay. There's not a whole lot you can do with that hairdo. Okay. I understand that you want to look presentable, and I understand it, and I don't disagree. Okay. But the hairdo is the hairdo. Okay. And I don't give a rat's fat kneecap what they bring in for you to use. It's not a wand, so don't expect miracles. Okay. Ain't nobody finna bibbity bobbity boo you into not having Karen hair. I'm sorry. It's just, that's the way that it is. That's the way the cookie crumbles, ma'am. So let's get into it. Let's start this interrogation. We are going to start it at the very beginning. We will not be skipping over anything. I have turned the closed captions on, and I would like if you guys in the audience would do me a favor. I have my headphones on and they're turned up. Okay. I don't know if the closed captioning, it's hit or miss with these closed captions. So I don't know if they're going to pick up the conversation as they're walking into the Vincent. Yes, 7 years is 27 years for us folks in modern times. While your avatar is a portrait of Vincent van Gogh. For modern times. Okay, so anyway, see if you guys can pick up what they say as they're walking in the door. Okay. Because allegedly, and according to Mr. Owens, Sarah believes that she is being taken into the special. She's getting special accommodations to retrieve her phone. Okay, all right, here we go. Oh, I tried to click play from StreamYard. Here we go.
Just let us know if any time you need more. Okay. I'm going to have you sit in the green chair that doesn't move. Appreciate you coming in.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to ask you about these whenever we have a moment.
Sure. So obviously, he received his autopsy. So I'm going to read you your rights again because we have to talk about that. And since I'm talking about the incident, we just have to do it, just like we did yesterday.
Protocol?
Just like we did yesterday. Remember I read you the rights, your rights? Yeah, so it's the exact same thing, but since I'm asking you follow-up questions, I need to read them to you, okay?
Sure.
All right, so you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer before and during questioning without charge. If you cannot afford a lawyer and want one can be provided for you before questioning without charge. Has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to talk to me?
No.
And do you understand what I just read you?
Yes.
Perfect, okay. So this morning we went to his autopsy.
And right off the bat, Sarah was Mirandized. Bada bing, bada boom, just like that. Okay? So there's claim one. Out the window. She was Mirandized. Here we go. Oh, wait, let me make sure that I have it on normal. Okay, here we go.
And we were informed of some injuries that he has by the doctor. So I want, so he's got scratch marks to his back.
I know what that's from.
Okay. And it's called a contusion. Do you know what a contusion is? So like basically you're getting hit and then, you get a mark from it.
It's a bruise.
Like someone hit you or something like that. It's called a contusion. So he had some injuries to his left shoulder. He had a cut near his lip. We could see his mouth was a little
I haven't laid a
swollen.
hand on him.
Okay.
Also too, he fell off my son's bike,
Okay.
so I don't know. And he's notorious for running into the wall or the hall tree. So
Okay. What about the scratches?
Okay, can I just say that right off the bat here, okay? In all my time watching true crime stuff, right? And I've been watching things about true crime since I was a kid. My mom loved true crime, okay? And Sarah Boone is not the first person to ever come up with the battered spouse defense, or be a victim of domestic violence, okay? Unfortunately, it's a sad fact that a lot of people have. But my point is, typically, you have the victim who says things like, when they show up to work with a black eye, I fell, I ran into the door, I opened the cabinet and I wasn't paying attention and I caught my eye. You don't usually, so when I hear her say, he is notorious for running into walls, that's a red flag to me. I just want to point that out. All right. Here we go. I'm going to let it go for a little while without talking, okay?
Because there's also sex?
Yes.
Okay. Because there's also like a scratch on the back of his neck, kind of going, but it's going straight across.
I have no idea what that's from.
And they're all recent. They occurred recently. It wasn't something that occurred post or that occurred a week ago or 2 days ago, 3 days ago. They definitely occurred, the night leading up to when he was.
In all honesty, we have not gotten into it.
Okay.
That's why, the only thing I thought you guys were going to ask me about, which I was going to be honest with you anyway, are the scratch marks on his back.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, I have no idea what it is. No idea what it is. Nonetheless, I've had my son over the house too, so.
Well, your son was there when? When was he last there?
Oh, gosh.
From my understanding, he was there last Tuesday?
I don't know if it was Tuesday, but yes, he was there last week, so.
Well, we're talking about Sunday. Yeah. We're just talking about what occurred Sunday. Because like I said, the injuries are they occurred within that time period.
So you're talking about day before yesterday?
Sunday leading into Monday. You called us yesterday at 1, so, but the incident, you guys were painting and stuff the night prior.
Correct.
So we're talking about Sunday and then into Monday.
I'm thoroughly confused because we had a good time sitting on the back porch, having wine and smoking a couple of cigarettes, and then decided to go inside and literally paint, do puzzles, and play, and listen to music. That's why nobody got out of sorts. This is what's mind-blowing to me. Like, I have no clue. Nobody laid a hand on anybody.
He also had, like on the left side of his forehead, he had basically bruising, and on like his head and his skull.
I have no idea.
As if something hit him.
I
considered
have not
force
touched him.
trauma.
I have not touched him. I have not touched him.
Then how would you get those injuries?
Tell me and we'll both know. I have not touched him.
Yesterday, when we took photographs of your overall body, and they did the buccal swabs, did they go under your fingernails?
No.
Okay. Are you willing to let us
Absolutely.
swab underneath your fingernails?
Go for it.
Okay.
I have no idea, and I don't want to seem out of sorts, but I have no idea. We had a good day.
Okay, so yeah, I see in the chat. Yes, the thing is, okay, so let me start here with Nicholas. A trending speculation is that Sarah may have incapacitated George upstairs, e.g. with the bat, and then put him in the suitcase and pushed it down the stairs. I don't know if I'm 100% on board with that theory. My theory has been that on some level, she's telling somewhat of the truth as far as George was hiding in the suitcase and she zipped him up in the suitcase. I think then she pushed him down the stairs, and I think that is how he sustained those injuries. Now, what I will say is, and I had forgotten about this, I did get an email that said that was titled George's Autopsy. I need to look at that. And we definitely, once I've looked at it, we will definitely have a talk about it. And I think that once we can see the diagram of the injuries and read the descriptions, we'll have probably a much clearer picture of what potentially occurred that day. And Carolina says, when the suspect says that too, in all honesty, and especially when God is mentioned, they are straight out lying, in my opinion. Whenever anybody says, to be honest with you, or I'm going to be honest with you, or I do side eye. I think some people do it and they don't think about it. They actually are telling the truth, but it is something innate in me that is always skeptical, because why do you need to tell me you're about to be honest? Just be honest. But, so I always, I'm always suspect of that. But let's keep going, and let me try not to interrupt too much, because this is important. And I've forgotten a lot of the details, and we're getting right close up to trial. So this is important, because I don't know if they're going to play the whole 1 hour, 55 minutes and 49 seconds of this for the jury. They might, but they might not. So here we go.
Mm-hmm. It was a good day.
It was a good day. I see a good day.
Even considering everything that's going on with our jobs and life in general and ex-wives and everything. It's been good. Like, I don't even know where this is coming from.
Yeah,
I don't even
the
know.
last physical was probably, you said, I think, a month ago? Where you got the injury, right? You said that was a month ago?
A few weeks, give or take, yeah.
A few weeks. That was the last, physical altercation between the two of you? You said a month ago he hit you with a curtain rod.
Yeah, with a curtain rod. That's why I can't believe you guys didn't take that either.
Wow.
We've been good. I don't know if, it's since the last time he got out of jail, like, we've been good, and he's been having his classes and seeing his probation officer, who's amazing. So.
What do you mean by good? What's your definition of good?
The probation officer?
No, you said you guys have been good. What's your definition?
I've been good. I don't think you all understand. He comes at me all the time. He comes at me. So it's either I flee or try to go upstairs and go to sleep. That's usually what it is. And I don't know if you talk to Brian about any of that, but most of the time when I flee, I go over there. So.
Right, but you're saying that you guys have been good, and when I asked you yesterday, the last incident that you could remember was the curtain rod incident, which you said was a month ago, so.
Give or take.
Right, so what do you mean by he comes after you? Like,
he gets belligerently drunk. Like, I don't know if you all have looked through my phone yet and seen any of the pictures and the videos that I have taken. And at one point, I started documenting everything.
Okay.
So you all will see in my pictures, bloody fingers, split foreheads, he split my nose. I've got this.
Right.
I don't know if Brian told you about it, where I had to have almost I had one really bad surgery, but then it got really, 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 really bad, where I had to go like 4 or 5 more times afterwards for them to tend to it, from him poking me in the back of the leg.
Right.
So it's.
Then why are you still with him?
Everybody asks me that. When I tell you guys this, I really love him, like I do, and I feel like I can help him. Like, I feel like I could help him, which I did, because he came a really long way from where he was in Philadelphia to moving back to here and to dealing with everything else that he's been dealing with. I've really helped him. I've bailed him out of jail, 3 times. I've gone to every single hearing and every single arraignment, everything that I did for him. Gone to see all his public defenders, go to the state. I've gone to the state. I did everything for him because I'm trying to help him, because I had hope in him. And he was trying. He was really trying. And then he starts to think about things, and I think he gets overwhelmed. And then it's like, the next thing I know, he's drinking. So it's like, oh man, I know where this is going to go. So I'm going to go upstairs and read a book, or I'm going to go for a bike ride, or I'm going to do something else. Where I don't want to drink. I don't want to drink. The occasional wine, whatever, or if it's a weekend, that's when you have a good time. You don't have to wake up the next day. I have to wake up the next day and do things. I have to tend to Lucas. I have to take him to school. I have all this stuff to do. He doesn't know how to, I guess, maintain himself, where I can do 50 things at once and still know the 50 things more prior that I need to get done. He can't process like that. He didn't process like that. So he would literally, not literally, but have smoke coming out of his ears. So the next thing you know, he doesn't want to deal with it. I'm going to go get something to drink. So the majority of the time, I would hang out outside or do something else because I don't want to drink. And every time, his job broke his heart. And it made me sad because he had so much pride in his job. And the store that he took care of so much totally went downhill. And that broke his heart because he had put so much work and effort into fixing it up. And his manager was awful and basically gave up on all of the employees. So I think that had a huge bearing on why he would drink so much. His ex-wife is bonkers. She was all over him all the time. Send me money, send me money, send me money. How can I send you money when I don't have a job? And he's still trying to take care of me and Lucas by paying a bill here or there, getting some groceries. So he always had something on his mind, which is why, again, I got the puzzles and the bank to try to get him off of it so we don't have a drink, or he doesn't have a drink. So when you all see my phone, you can see all of the damage he has done to me and the videos of him smashing my television because he's belligerently drunk. Where most of the time, I just don't want to be there. And I try to help him. I try to calm him down. Eventually, he just passes out.
Well, yesterday it made it sound like you guys were just drinking like a glass or two. Like, yeah, you obviously had the bottle, but you told me on recording, like, that you were not drunk, he was not drunk, you guys were having a good time?
I can't get drunk. Number one, I do not want to get drunk. I don't like being non-compos mentis, having my wits about myself. I don't like feeling out of control.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm just saying, you're making it sound like he's a raging alcoholic today, and yesterday I was kind of asking you those questions, and you're like a little defensive, like, no, we're not alcoholics.
I'm not.
We are not, you know. But you guys were both sober on Sunday, to your knowledge, because when I said you went and passed out, you were like, no, I didn't pass out, I just fell asleep. So now it's kind of like, what is it? Were you guys drinking and it got out of hand and
no.
it got physical?
No.
Or is it?
Sunday was one of the better days that we have had in quite some time. He's dancing with my dog. You can see that too on the pictures, him loving the dog. He loves the dog and dancing around, having a good time, and just being happy kind of thing. He doesn't know, I can get like maybe 2-3 glasses of wine and I'll be fine. But I have to have my wits about myself because I don't know what to expect.
Well, let's talk about Sunday. What was Sunday? How were you, like, how many glasses of wine did you have? How many glasses of wine did he have? The bottle was gone. I mean, I don't know if you poured any out. Yes.
No, that was from previous.
You said that there was a half bottle left
Yeah,
over.
about this much.
Mm-hmm. And then that you had went, well, I don't even know how the wine, how'd you guys get the wine for Sunday?
I'm guessing he went to Publix.
Does he like leave the house and you stay home, or do you go to Publix? Like, cause
sometimes I'll go with him.
Okay. Did you go with him Sunday to Publix?
So most of the time what happens is, because the convenience store where we get cigarettes is here, and then Publix literally is cattywampus to it.
Okay.
So what he'll do is he'll go by Publix, and then on the way back, catch the convenience store.
Okay.
So
is that what he did Sunday?
I'm guessing that's what he did, because the next thing I know, he's walking in with a bottle.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's him trying to be nice, so I don't have to go out and do it. Plus, there's stuff that are around the house that I had to take care of. So that's usually what will happen. Or I'm folding laundry and he'll go run out and do whatever.
Okay. So where were you guys at on?
Okay, so I pulled up an article that I've read to you guys before regarding battered spouse syndrome. And the reason I chose this article is because it's dated back in January of 2023, when Sarah's trial was once again supposed to start and didn't. And she was going to use the battered spouse defense then. And so I thought it was pertinent and important because it specifically pertains to this case. And so, according to NSU, there are 4 general characteristics of battered spouse syndrome. Now, when there are 4 general characteristics. These are characteristics that are seen the most, okay? It doesn't mean that all of them are seen. It doesn't mean that just because 3 are seen and not the 4th one, or 2, or even, everybody is a little bit different. But generally speaking, this is the type of behavior that they display. The spouse believes the violence was their own fault. Now, I ask you, in what we just heard, was there anything that Sarah said where she's taking the blame on herself, where she says, I aggravate him, I ask him too many questions in a row, just anything? I didn't hear anything. Did you guys hear that? Okay. This number 2, the spouse is incapable of placing the responsibility for the violence elsewhere. 3, the spouse fears for his or her life and or their children's lives, and the spouse has an irrational belief that their abuser is all-knowing and at no fault. Personally, it's my opinion that Sarah believes she is all knowing and at no fault. And Nicholas, you're 100% correct. I've heard in different places that BSS cannot be accidental. It is essentially a sort of a self-defense type of defense. Okay. So you cannot accidentally defend yourself. You either defend yourself or you don't, because you have an imminent threat and you make the decision to defend yourself. You don't accidentally defend yourself. It just doesn't work that way. So, and the boss lady asks, oh, that's a good profile picture too. You guys, do we know why her previous attorneys would not agree to BSS? They did agree to. Okay, so the attorney who was the most vocal that I remember about the battered spouse syndrome defense was Bankowitz. And he wanted a specific psychiatrist who specialized in battered spouse syndrome to evaluate Sarah. And he had filed a motion with the court because this particular expert witness, her rate was higher than what the JAC will allow. And so there was going to be a hearing, and he was going to present why it was necessary for Sarah to have this specific psychiatrist, forensic psychiatrist, versus another one. And what ended up happening is that he, filed a motion to withdraw right before that hearing was to take place. I'm talking about like right before. Okay. Now, with Mr. Padilla, which I have to say, saying Padilla is so rude, or however it was that Mr. Owens pronounces it. It's not a hard word to say, and it's not a hard last name to pronounce. It's Padilla. It's very easy. Also, he continued to say that George's cause of death was asphyxiation. No, George's cause of death was positional asphyxiation. There's like about 3 more syllables you're leaving out of that word, and some consonants and vowels as well. It's asphyxiation, Mr. Owens, if you're paying attention. So, anywho, Mr. Padilla also, it appears, was going to try and see about using the battered spouse syndrome defense. But what that requires is you need to get an expert, you need to get a forensic psychiatrist in there to evaluate your client. And then it's based on that evaluation, as to whether you use the battered, does this person who evaluated your client believe that your client suffers from the battered spouse syndrome or not? And the expert witness that Mr. Owens is using, Dr. Julie Harper, has previously evaluated Sarah. She was the expert witness retained by Mr. Padilla. So, to me, yes. The boss lady, in other words, he was crushed so tight he could not expand his lungs to breathe. When he said it to, yes, cerebellum, that when he was saying that today, all I could hear of that was, all I could hear was Napoleon Dynamite. God, Gina, you fat lard, come get your quesadilla. Eat your dinner, Gina. Yeah. So that poor alpaca. Anywho, that's not the point. But the point being, this was a defense that I think was started by Mr. Padilla, and I think all of the attorneys after that also felt like that might be a viable, a potential defense avenue for defense. I don't know how how they thought they were going to get around this nightmare situation of Sarah being Sarah for 1 hour, 55 minutes, and 49 seconds. I mean, just the things that she says in this interrogation, it's none of it. Well, we'll keep going. I mean, she wasn't defending herself. She reiterates over and over and over that they had a good day that day and they'd been doing just great. All the things were, fun. There was dancing with the dog. There was music. There was, she had her wits about her, all of the things. I don't understand it. So Carolina says, if Judge Cranick agrees with that defense, will that mean her trial would be continued because he hasn't decided on the battered wife, I think BWS, battered women's syndrome, battered wife syndrome? Thank you. So no, Judge Cranick, if he will make a decision, and he said he expects his decision to be tomorrow, then he will. The trial is not going to be continued. There is. She has been evaluated by the forensic psychologist that they wanted, which is Julie Harper. Julie Harper has already said, yes, I believe that Sarah suffers from battered spouse syndrome. The state already sort of had an inkling that this might be a defense they attempted, and so they have for their own expert that is ready to evaluate Sarah for the state. And so, no, there's not going to be any continuance. I can't see that. Is it possible? Is it possible? Yes, anything is possible. But is it probable? No. Mr. Judge Cranick seems like he is adamant that this case is going to trial October 7th, barring some crazy catastrophe. I just can't see them, continuing it. So, no, I don't think it'll get continued. All right, let's keep going.
On drunkenness, not drunkenness on Sunday. You told us you weren't drunk.
No, I was not drunk.
Right.
I was not drunk. So with him, I don't know. I know when it's like, oh, okay, man, where I have told him, slow down. It's starting to catch up with you. Slow down. Slow down. And another thing, too, is I don't like listening to music with him because he gets too involved in the music, and the music that he listens to is a little rough around the edges, and, it makes me fractious listening to his music. So I kept asking him, let's just you and me talk. You and me will just be the ones that are talking, which was fine because, we were playing with the dog, whatever, and then it's like, okay, now let's do the painting. We just did the puzzle, took a break, now let's do this. Sure enough, sat down, we're sitting in there talking, laughing, talking about new movies, we're watching movie trailers while we're doing painting and all that other stuff. So it's still background noise to him because I think that's what he's used to, is having background noise. Where me, I can sit in here all day with not a peep. But he always has to have some kind of background noise, which I didn't mind because the trailers were cool. And he was interested in showing them to me, getting excited about movies that were out or upcoming.
Okay.
So
on your laptop you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And and then it was.
But you said it was a good day, you guys didn't have any have any conversations about your relationship? You guys didn't go down like the rabbit hole, like had too many to drink, and you guys start getting.
Nope. When I tell you this, it made me so happy that he actually listened to what I had to say with just, we'll get through it. This will be fine. It's a small hurdle that you and I together will get through because.
I'm talking about the money, jobs,
Daughters. Yes.
Nothing
No.
relationship-wise, though. Like, no issues. Like, did you guys have a conversation about your relationship, or was it just about
Just
like
what's
the stress?
going on right now.
Got it.
I try to evoke it from him so he gets it off his chest because I call him the volcano where eventually he's going to erupt.
Right.
And what he has learned in his classes is to communicate,
Mhm.
which is a huge thing in a relationship,
Right.
where he has been practicing communication. So he actually talks to me about things and unburdens himself. Put it on me. I'll sit there and try and figure it out for you. Like I have almost everything.
Mhm.
Not a worry. Just tell me. Get it out of you.
Right.
But it was, when I tell you, I was so happy. Like it was such a good day. I kid you not. The weather was beautiful outside.
Yes, Sarah, you really strike me as a person who does really enjoy helping other people solve their problems and for it not to be about you and for it to be about them. You really, that is one of the first things I noticed right off the bat about you is what a selfless, caring, and giving person you are.
I say that I knew George better than himself. And I tried in every way, shape, and form. Ask everyone. I helped him. I took care of him. I miss him a lot, and I didn't even sleep last night. I miss him a lot.
I mean, is there any chance it got to be too much for you and you couldn't handle taking care of him and
I never stopped.
trying to?
I never
help?
stopped. That's what I'm here for. I never stopped. I'm here now because I'm still trying to help him.
Yeah, we just don't. I mean, it's unexplainable.
Okay, just for a second. I'm Berto, is everyone in the room with us right now? Oh my God. Okay. I do think that this bit that Sarah's saying, there is some truth to this. I do think in her own messed up, toxic way, I do think she has real, genuine feelings for George. I do. I do think she, in her way, loved him. But, and I do think she misses him, and I do think she's sad. But this whole soliloquy about I helped him, ask everyone, I'm still helping him, I'm helping him today. Bruh. The man was begging to be let out of that suitcase. The one time that your help was imperative, you declined the help. You didn't help him. Not only did you not help him, you mocked him. You told him to shush. You said to him when he said, I can't breathe, you said, and I quote, that's how I feel when you choke me. And then he asked again for you to let him out. And you said, that's on you. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Also, there was a question earlier that I saw and I forgot to address this. So let me do that really quickly about what's on her phone. I don't know how Sarah can remember all the things that she alleges are on the phone, yet doesn't remember those videos that they're about to show her here that she took that are on her phone as well. So She has the entire downloaded contents of her phone. Not to mention that the incidents of DV that George was charged in as the aggressor, there are records of that too. And if Sarah and George or George had any injuries, they were photographed. So there's that. But I believe that if those photographs and videos that Sarah says or claims exist on her phone, and they were there on February 25th, I think is the day that this happened, that this interrogation takes place. If they existed when they downloaded her phone, then when the state turned over her discovery, included in that discovery was the complete download of her phone. So they should be there. And the only thing that I can think of is that Sarah, when she was looking through her discovery, she didn't know how to access those files correctly. And Mr. Owens says that he hasn't even, he's not anywhere near all the way through looking at her discovery. So perhaps he has not come across them yet. But if they're there, if they were there on the 20, when that phone was downloaded, they're in the discovery. And then she and Mr. Owens, by extension, have them. So if they exist, that's where they're at. All right, here we go.
How he got these injuries, and
I have no idea.
you were the only one with him.
100% right hand to God. I have no idea how he got them. Nobody touched anybody. Nobody touched anybody.
Okay. You had mentioned that you would take photos, videos, kind of like a proof and just in general.
Yeah, I started documenting at one point, but that was way before, I think, the last time that he got arrested, where he was flying off the deep end.
Okay.
But then I had him bailed out. I got him out of jail.
Right.
But because he had violated the pretrial diversion, this time it's probation, so you don't have a choice in it. You have to go see your probation officer. You have to go to these classes. It's court ordered.
Mm-hmm.
Where it took him a while to get used to it and understand, they're not messing around. I even went down and met his probation officer, which I say she's wonderful. That's one of my questions too I need to talk to you about. Hugged me and said how much she knows that I take care of him. She called me personally.
Okay. Something interesting that Sarah says in this interrogation video right here is, I don't know, I didn't touch him. Okay. I think this is just my own personal opinion. There's literally not a way at this time for me to prove this. But I am a firm believer in people, even when they lie, they do leak the truth. And I think when Sarah says, I didn't touch him, I think that she's actually in her own, I found a loophole kind of way telling the truth here. Because think about it. If he were in the suitcase at the top of the stairs and she pushed the suitcase down the stairs with George in it, mind you, she didn't actually touch George. She touched the suitcase. And therefore, she is not the one who caused those injuries. The stairs caused those injuries. You follow my line of thinking here? And I think that's why she's so adamant about it, because she does know how he got those injuries, yet isn't taking any accountability for ultimately causing those injuries. It's not like the stairs decided that they were going to cause injuries to George, but for Sarah putting him in that suitcase and pushing that suitcase with him in it down those stairs, those injuries would not have occurred. but Sarah doesn't see it that way. And I think that this is her weird, it's a weird leak. Well, Carolina says, how can it possibly be a battered spouse defense if they both had records on hitting each other? How does that make sense? They were both toxic and fought all the time. Well, Carolina, that is essentially the argument that the state made. So the whole argument was from the state that the defense in their motion of intent to use the battered spouse defense had not established why Sarah Boone is a battered spouse. Okay. There are certain things that are required when you file a notice of intent to use the battered spouse syndrome. And the state's argument and position is that they did not meet that burden, that they did not meet those requirements in that motion, that they left out a lot of things. And the defense argument, which I don't know what the other attorney's argument was because audio issues, but what Mr. Owens was arguing, in my opinion, and the judge's opinion, was absolutely circular logic. His argument is, how can we prepare a battered spouse defense if we don't know the particulars of what it is exactly that the state is alleging that Sarah did that caused the death of George Torres? We don't know when those injuries that he sustained occurred. They were not listed as a potential contributor to his cause of death. There were many things that occurred before those videos were taken on her phone. And he said there were many things that occurred after those videos were taken on her phone that we don't know about. And we need for the defense to tell us exactly what they think Sarah did. That's basically what he was that's what he was saying, which is circular logic. That's not how it works. And furthermore, the state has given them their witness list. And they are aware of what exhibits the state intends to introduce into evidence at the trial. And that is pretty much a guideline to what they're alleging happened. I don't know what else Mr. Owens wants. Does he want them to draw a picture? Do they need a diagram? So, it is what it is. And that's the issue. And this is another issue right here. Low Red says she did not force him to get into the suitcase. I mean, it's very difficult to prove a negative, okay? And we simply can't prove that one way or another, which is exactly why, in my opinion, she's charged with second-degree murder and not first, because there is no way to prove that. There are no injuries to Sarah. There are only injuries to George, which suggests on some level that the potential exists that there was no brawl or kerfuffle or issue, scuffle, because you would think that if somebody were forcing you into a suitcase, if you are not incapacitated, right? If you have all of your wits about you, all of your faculties about you, you would struggle against being put in a suitcase. So there would be evidence of that struggle. And because it's a situation where it's very close contact, one could surmise and assume that the potential would exist if a struggle occurred, that there would be marks visible on the other person that indicate there was some type of struggle, and that didn't happen. And so, I think that it is reasonable to assume that one of two things happened. Either George passed out from consuming alcohol and was placed in that suitcase, or two, he got in the suitcase willingly. To me, I think that the latter is probably the more probable scenario. I don't think that Sarah would be capable really of lifting George into that suitcase. And it's not because, George was this, giant man, but he weighed what, 120 pounds or something like that. But 120 pounds of incapacitated weight is heavy. And I don't think Sarah, as thin as she is, that's not indicative of her actually being in good shape. And I just don't think that she could do it. So there's that. And Lil Red says, you would think the suitcase would have a safety zipper so he could get out. That wasn't the main issue. The issue was that the suitcase was upside down. So even if George was able to get the zipper unzipped, he was still laying on the flap that opens, and he was confined in a tight space. So there wasn't a whole lot of wiggle room. So I'm not sure how he would have on his own been able to angle himself or push himself up out of there if the suitcase was unzipped. So 103, whatever it was, 100. You guys, 100 pounds is nothing to snub your nose at. 100 pounds is 100 pounds. To Sarah, look, I'm going to take this comment down, and I'm going to move the captions. Bruh, does it look like Sarah lifts? So, I mean, it wouldn't have. 100 pounds is still 100 pounds. He wasn't a huge guy, but 100 pounds is heavy. And it doesn't look to me like Sarah could lift 100 pounds. I don't think she did lift the suitcase. I think she shoved that suitcase down the stairs. I think if anything, if she did anything to the suitcase, she flipped it. She had to have flipped it at least once. We know because when the paramedics arrived, the suitcase was right side up and George's legs were out of it. So she had to have, she had to have flipped it at least one time from where we saw it in the suitcase video when it was upside down. So she had to flip it at least once.
One time when George was at work, when he was working, 42-minute phone call. She and I just saying how grateful she is that George has me. And she knows how hard I'm working to help him, just as she is and just as the classes will. So once he started actually going on a regular basis to the probation officer and then to his substance abuse class and his, I don't know what BIP stands for, Battered Intervention program. Mm-hmm. And actually listening to what it is everyone had to say, he changed. Like I could see a change in him, where before lashing out, he would think about it. And would always come home and show me his papers. And we would look over his papers together. Where it's like, wow, you actually are learning this in class? And some of the stuff that they would show them, like videos, he would come home and be like, Sarah, I'm so sorry for what I've done.
I do enjoy how Sarah takes a moment to lift up those paperwork those pieces of paper over there as a visual demonstration. I do appreciate that, Sarah. You do keep it lively. Thanks for that.
Changed.
And that's why you're still with him, even though he's done all these things to you. And
when I tell you I love him, I love him.
Boone, when you have when you love somebody, you have limits.
Everybody tells me that. All my neighbors don't tell me that. The office, property manager.
At some point, somebody gets enough, then they have to do something to
Hey,
defend
Tony
themselves.
and Muggs, welcome in. Good to
I
see
was
you.
just asleep, and I don't know if you would like to see it on my phone, or I think it's actually on a laptop. I actually, because,
Wait.
and you have to understand too,
Espera. I'm starting to have an idea here. What if the reason that it can't be located in the data that was downloaded from the phone is because, let me rewind this really quick. Hold on, let me make it right here. What does Sarah say right here? I think it's actually on a laptop. So perhaps, Mr. Owens, since you are questioning this whole interrogation video, it would behoove you, sir, to sit and watch this interrogation video. Maybe the reason that you can't find the pictures on the phone is because the pictures are not on the phone. They're on the laptop. Maybe. Okay, let's keep going.
because, and you have to understand too, I have, like, prior to classes in PO, kicked him out. How many times? I had him arrested. How many times?
But you also went down and bailed them
I
out
know.
the next day.
I know.
What's on your laptop?
What was I gonna tell you? Oh, previously, I actually looked up how to file a restraining order.
Okay.
Because I would kick him out, his parents, because of them constantly having to take him back in, his bags of clothes, all his stuff. The last time, the father came out and irate and just not even,
Oh my God, I just remembered something.
Just opened the back of my car and just.
Hold the phone. I just remembered something. The other night, there is a channel that was going over Sarah Boone, and her old neighbor was a special guest on the panel. Let me go find that while I'm thinking about it. I had to say it out loud. Sorry for interrupting, but if I didn't say it, I was going to forget. And that is very interesting to me, given I'm talking about this live occurred at most 3 nights ago, at most. And so so 3 nights ago, right? And today, what is Mr. Owens saying? We can't locate the neighbor. Good night, a million sparkles. Thanks for being here, babe. Let me go find that while I play this. Okay, hold on.
Started throwing all his crap in, just throwing it. Like the car would jostle, he was throwing all his stuff. At that point, because I continually did it, not continually, I think I maybe did it 3 times, and he has nowhere else to go, they got fed up and said, nope, either you're staying there or you're staying here. But if you're staying here at their place, it's permanent. You're not going back over there anymore. So what happens is he pursues me. So I don't know if y'all know where Katie Way Trail is. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's literally right there from our apartment. Mm-hmm. Would ride his bike to work, but before he would leave extra early and come up to the wall, stand on top of his bike and poke his head over because he would know that I would be outside having my morning cigarette and cup of coffee. And I would also know too what time he would get off of work, where I would know, come getting off of work, he's gonna do the same thing. So it's not like I ever got like a break from him, where I told you all yesterday, or whenever it was, I started to feel that it was too much togetherness. And when you have too much togetherness, friction happens. So I'm gonna go ride my bike. I'm gonna go upstairs and read a book. But every waking moment, he wants to be with me. So, and mind you, our townhome is either upstairs or downstairs. So it's like, if you would like to sit downstairs and watch a movie or play on the laptop, look up some jobs, you're more than welcome to. I'm just going to be upstairs maybe watching one of my shows or maybe reading a book. So, and then when that would happen, we really needed that. So what's for dinner? And then we would cook together and eat dinner and then crawl in the bed and watch a movie.
Are you talking about this is like recent? I don't know, you kind of like lost me. Like when, what are you
It was
talking
a while, like a little while ago.
But now you're talking about tension building up and that you need space. So have you been feeling that way lately or?
No.
Okay.
No. Okay, my thing is too, so you all know, I hate that you can't talk to her, but Dee, his ex-wife, when I say a monster, she's a monster. Like she withholds their children from speaking to him. So he gets upset about that, and then she like completely berates him about money, about the father that he is, what he did to her, all this other stuff. It doesn't matter. I mean, mind you, this has not like been recent, but which is why he didn't even bother calling anymore, because he knows that she's going to answer and he's going to have to talk to her, so therefore he can't talk to his daughter. The other time he talked to her, made her talk to Cookie. That's on my cell phone too, so you can see it.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter.
What does she have to do though with anything about what happened Sunday and into Monday? Like,
No, I'm just saying, like, previously,
Okay.
why the incidents, what happened is she plays a big part in it.
okay.
On
Is
top
that-
of job
Yeah.
and money and
Mhm.
groceries and all that.
Okay.
Sunday, when I tell you this, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Is there anybody else at the house?
Nope, it's just me and him.
Since talking yesterday, do you remember?
You found it, Nicholas? Oh my gosh, thank goodness, because I am looking for it. So here is my email. Oops. Or if you can just tell me the channel name, I can look it up. Oops, wrong thing. If you'll either email me or put it, please, if you don't mind, or put the channel name in the chat, and I can find it there. Please, pretty please. All right, let's keep going.
Remember any like timelines better? Like what time you guys were playing? What time he was zipped up in the luggage? What time you went upstairs?
We started because we cleaned the house a little bit, did some laundry.
You started the activities around 4, you said?
Yes, around 4:30ish, and then.
You just said that it was dark when you were playing hide and seek, and I'm just curious if you remember.
But when we were outside, that's where we would start
Mhm.
and talk about things, and then eventually I was the one that had him come inside, so we could.
About what time, do you remember what time that was, is what she's asking?
And you said you went up to bed around
Midnight.
midnight, fell asleep around 12:30-ish, but those are the only times I have. So I have 4 and I have midnight, so there's a big gap. So I'm just curious, like, if you recall when you went upstairs to hide in the shower, or
Like when we started to play.
Okay, that's
hide and
the
seek.
channel I found too, but I can't find that
Well,
live.
We went inside probably about, if I had to guess, we weren't out there too long, maybe about 6-ish. Then.
you're talking about from hanging out outside and like,
Mhm.
okay,
Well, we have 2 beach chairs that are out there and
right,
just enjoy the weather.
gotcha.
Plus, it started to get dark and gnats and mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So let's go inside. I don't want to be out here anymore.
Okay.
All right, let's go. So we're doing whatever. We did it for a while because that puzzle, I don't know if they took it or they saw it. Worked on the puzzle again, finished it. Started to paint.
Hold on a second.
Started listening to music for a little bit. Started to paint. Can we turn the music off? No problem. Start at the top, paint, whatever. Maybe, gosh, that puzzle, we worked on that for probably a good hour and a half.
Because
So,
I
8
remember,
o'clock-ish?
Is when you went to
o'clock?
hide upstairs originally?
No, that's when we were like painting. So then it's like, okay, well, I don't want to paint anymore. Let's just, come on. Okay, you want to play hide and seek? What he does is, okay, tag, you're it. So it's like, okay, we know. Okay, take off.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we did.
And then you went upstairs, and then he didn't come up, and you came down.
Let me think. I think
And the suitcase was there originally because you guys were planning to do donations, so it was already there. Have you guys ever played you said you played hide and seek like probably 3 times in your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
When you have you ever zipped him up in a suitcase prior?
No.
Okay. So it was just kind of like that prop was there, and it was there,
Yes.
and it was in play because.
Why do you say it like that, though?
I would never do that.
You would never zip them up in a suitcase?
Well, I mean,
we were playing.
no, I know,
That
but
time, but
I'm saying, I'm talking about hide and seek, which is a game, so.
the suitcase originally is in our closet, buried all the way to the back. If you, I know the CSI people saw our closet. Our closet needs to be cleaned out really bad. My son's clothes need to be
Let me see.
cleaned
I'll
out
find
really
it, you
bad because they
guys.
don't fit him anymore, and I'm tired of looking at them. So he took it upon himself, including that suitcase, to take it downstairs so we can get all of our clothes, our donations and everything, and just leave the whole thing by the clothing and shoe thing at my son's school.
Gotcha. No, I'm just asking, in the past, like, have you ever zipped him up in anything, jokingly or not? But obviously,
No.
I understand, you're claiming that Sunday it was a joking matter. You were laughing, he was laughing. But what I'm just asking is in the past, like, is it something that you guys normally do?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
We were actually this last game running out of places to hide because we have a townhome where it's upstairs or downstairs. So.
Okay, so do you remember making any videos or maybe having any any photos, videos that you remember doing on your phone on Sunday?
Well,
No?
I think I took a picture of a dog.
Okay. But your phone is password protected, you have the password, he has the facial recognition, so it's not like someone else could be on your phone.
No, I have both.
But you have the face and the password?
Yes.
Yeah, but he only has the face, correct?
No.
To be able to get onto your phone, you told me that he looks at the phone.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you were asking if I did. Yes, it's me.
Okay. Does he have access to your phone? Because you said it's your phone. Okay. How does he have access?
Sarah, can I borrow your phone? Yeah, it's right there on the kitchen counter.
Okay, but how does he get
it?
into it? Because it's password protected.
He'll come and get it to me, and I'll just do the face thing. Where sometimes too, like look, he'll joke with me and say, okay, I need to borrow your phone. And he'll hold it while I'm cooking or doing something, do the facial recognition.
Okay, so he doesn't know the password and he doesn't have the facial recognition.
No,
But he is the only other person that would use your phone, I'm assuming, other than.
well, Lucas.
Right. But Lucas wasn't there Sunday. Right. So, to your recollection, no videos on Sunday?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I mean, I get my phone.
Okay, so KPM, I clicked on that link that you sent or that you typed in the chat, and it's just her speaking, and the title of the video is Boone's Next Door Neighbor, Brandon, Vincent's roommate, full police interview. So is that, I mean, because it's a female voice speaking. So, yeah, I'm confused about this. All right. No, you didn't hear. Okay, so this is the video we're trying to find. Yes, Nicholas is correct. The neighbor, Tyler, went on, what is her name? Carrie Couture's Productions channel and gave a live interview or gave an interview. And I'm trying to find the title of that video. Victoria Lee, can you tell me what the title of the video is, please? And I will pull it up. I remember I watched it the next day and now I can't find it. I'm so frustrated. All right, I'm going to keep playing this so we don't have like no talking, but yeah,
Maybe take a picture of them, the two of Tess and
I just need
the
to know the
dogs.
title.
and George and them dancing, but I mean, it's just Tess.
Mhm. Okay. So I have something that I want to show you that we found, and it was from your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see it?
If you need to move it around, go ahead.
No, I don't remember that.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me.
Your battery's about to die.
Shut it down.
Oh, okay.
Let me.
The battery doesn't last very long.
It used to last a lot longer than that. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Let me just grab something.
All right. No, I was just simply asking because you had a look on your face when she asked you if you've ever done that before. You looked kind of shocked and,
No.
okay, but why did you say it
Thank
like
you.
that?
I got it. You guys, thank you so
I
much.
don't
Hang
think
on, give
you
me
all
1
understand who
second.
I am, where,
Well, tell me.
I mean, I've always been a straight A student. I am
Oh,
an
here we
outstanding mother
go.
to my son.
Okay.
I excel at everything.
Sarah excels at everything,
I would
y'all.
not do that.
You wouldn't lock somebody in a suitcase?
Well, I didn't like completely lock it. I mean, I opened it with one finger. I left enough in there for him to get out.
Okay.
And I wasn't planning on going upstairs and going to sleep.
Okay.
I mean, you literally did everything that one would do prior to going to sleep.
No, it was just the way you said it.
You guys are
Like,
scaring
Prepare
me.
for sleep.
why?
Well, we just want you to watch this. It came from your phone. Don't you want to know what's on it?
Yes, please.
All right, we're gonna watch this part and then we're gonna just watch a little tiny
Is
bit
it long?
of
Because I don't know how much I
her
can
live.
Mm-mm.
Hold on a second. Let me push pause so I'm not talking over this lunatic. Okay, so we're gonna watch this part. Okay. I got distracted by the chat. Sorry. We're gonna watch this part because this is important, right? And then we are gonna watch just a little tiny bit of the video on Caricature's Productions channel because she secured, she got the interview, and I would rather you guys go over there and watch it yourselves. I'm just going to promote it a tiny bit over here. I just think that she should get the view from you guys. It's I believe in sharing, but and thank you guys all for working together and helping me to actually not even finding for me this live. I appreciate it. I knew I had seen it. And my point being is, even if Tyler doesn't have a lot of information, right? How is it that Tyler found his way to YouTube and to a channel, right? And yet Mr. Owens, who has a PI working for him and who's tried like a ton of criminal cases, taken them to trial. We're not talking about just a gentleman who has represented clients and is a defense attorney, but the bulk of his, for lack of a better word, lawyering experience. That's not even a word, but that the bulk of his experience is most of his cases end in plea deals, right? This is a lawyer who has taken many, many cases to trial, right? So if that being the case, how is it that he is and his staff are unable to locate the neighbors? Now, again, I implore you, Mr. Owens, if you've spent any time on the YouTubes, particularly in the I don't know, the true crime community, yes, but there's a little overlap between true crime and drama, and that's called the trauma community. And the people that are in the trauma community can find out who you sat next to on the bus in 3rd grade. Okay. Maybe reach out to them and maybe they can help you. All right. So let's watch this. Victoria, I'm going to check out more of her stuff. I saw that this live came up in my suggestions and I watched it, part of it. And then of course I got distracted by probably something I had to do at the house or, something shiny, who knows. And then I didn't get to go back and finish it. So I'm excited to check out her channel. And, yeah. Now I've been following Sarah Boone since 2020, since not right after it happened. I think a little ways after that. Dr. B from True Psych Ward told me about Sarah Boone. I think that might just be straight drama, Lil Red. Trauma is more where the drama surrounding true crime cases is discussed. So there has to be a little bit of true crime in there. Like there has to be some level of, even if it's just a little bit, there's got to be a little bit of true crime in there. But yeah, I have been following this case for the longest time, and I've been so excited and then let down every single time we get to where it's just the trial's just about to start, and then boom, motion to withdraw happens. So I'm very, very pleased with Judge Kranick in that he is maintaining that the trial is going to start October 7th, because at this point, I don't think I could handle another situation where the trial is postponed. I don't think I could take a continuance. All right, so let's watch this part and then we'll switch it over to the other channel. Here we go.
I don't know how much I can take.
I don't know how to find her.
Do I have to watch this? I continuously throw up. I don't sleep. I don't want to see it, if that's okay.
How do you
Well, it's on your phone.
Hold on a minute. Just
And you can either,
excuse me, ma'am. Let me not interrupt you. Just pardon me 1 minute here. How are you continuously throwing up? This happened the day before this interview. All of this happened the day prior. And if you don't know what it is, I mean, what is the big, I don't understand her reaction here. This is why I'm still on the fence about this too. It's like how she said you don't have to wake up the next day. Correct. That was a weird slip. But this is why I'm still on the fence about whether or not she knew that she took those videos. Because her reaction here is just so extra. I mean, they did play a little clip prior to this. And so my thought is it possible that because they played a little bit of it and then the laptop needed charging, is it possible she sort of has an inkling it's all coming back to her? Or I don't know how I feel about it. I can't tell if she actually didn't remember that she took those videos, or if she thought she deleted them and then accidentally on purpose fell asleep before hitting the last, you know how when you delete something, you get that pop-up that they ask you, are you sure? Maybe she fell asleep on accident before she hit okay. I don't know. It's hard for me to tell. All right, but here, let's watch it anyways. Here we go.
Explain it, or we take it for what it is.
Yeah, we're just,
That's okay.
All right.
Well, it's on your phone, and you can either explain it, or we take it for what it is.
yeah, we're just trying to give you the opportunity to tell us what's going on. That's it.
It's that long?
2 minutes.
No,
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me. Fuck you.
And this
Fuck
is,
you.
that's you, your voice.
Stupid. That's my name. Don't wear it up. I can't want to wait. Yeah, that's when you do and you choke me.
I don't want to watch it, please.
Last time we talked to you, you had said that you put him in the suitcase, he had 2 fingers hanging out. And you
I
went to
flipped him
that-
over. I flipped him over, and that's where it was.
There's 2 different videos and a still picture where, yeah, it shows you flipping him in different positions and him saying that he can't breathe and you saying, fuck
So
you.
this is upside down. So in order for him to have gotten into it,
It was flipped up.
right, it was flipped up normal.
Yes.
Like as if you're packing something. So
Hold on a
this is
minute.
upside down.
Guys, this is killing me right now.
Hold on a minute. I just realized something. So I have in the chat and after, and during the lives, many people have said that Sarah says she put him in the suitcase. Okay. And I remember her saying it like, I think in the 911 call. But what I didn't remember is this part here. So let me rewind it a little bit because I'm trying to ascertain what exactly she just admitted to here. Okay. So give me just a second. All right. I don't.
Yeah, that's when you do and you choke me.
I don't want to watch it, please.
Last time we talked to you, you had said that you put him in the suitcase, he had 2 fingers hanging out. And you
I
went to
flipped him
that-
over. I flipped him over, and that's where it was.
There's 2 different videos and a still picture where, yeah, it shows you flipping him in different positions.
Okay. So this is like a non-committal right there. The officer or the detective says, yesterday you told us you put him in the suitcase and you zipped it up and there were 2 fingers out. And I was trying to see if she admitted that she did put him in the suitcase here or she didn't. And this is where I think the gray area is. And part of the reason why the DA decided to go for second degree rather than first degree. Because I think had he said what he said in that moment, the detective said, yesterday you told us you put him in the suitcase. And there were 2, and he had 2 fingers that were sticking out. I think if Sarah had said, yeah, I put him in if she had acknowledged that and said, yeah, I put him in the suitcase and I left it, and then I zipped him up and I left it where he had 2 fingers hanging out. I think Sarah would be facing first degree instead of second degree. But because they only have her saying it one time, and then when he brings it up to her again, there's no actual committal. She doesn't actually respond directly to what he said she said. Do you see does that make sense? And the only thing that she is acknowledging in this is that she flipped him over, which is interesting because why is she admitting that she flipped him over? If he started out in the suit, and if everything happened the way Sarah happened, follow me here, okay? If it started the way Sarah says that it started, which was that the suitcase was located downstairs, okay, in order for him to get it, and they were putting things in it. So he gets in the suitcase. She zips him up. What reason would you then have to flip the suitcase over? Okay, you either flip it over from the correct position to being upside down because you don't want him to get out, or is she talking about after the suitcase was pushed down, kicked down the stairs by Sarah? She pushed it and then it went, gravity took over and he tumbled down the stairs. Is she saying that the suitcase landed upside down and she flipped it over? Does that make sense? Okay, Robin, welcome in, by the way. Robin says, I researched legal definition of coercion after the hearing and the rules of Mirandizing a defendant. First and foremost, the only people who have to be Mirandized are those under arrest. Correct. That's true. Is what in the affidavit? Okay, so they didn't actually put anything related to where that suitcase coming down the stairs comes from, Blanca, is the neighbors, the two college kids that share a wall with Sarah and George. That neighbor said that he heard something come falling down. These are his words, that something fell down those stairs. Something fell down those stairs so hard and so loud that it shook the wall. And this is what's missing. This is the other element that's missing from what we know. It may be addressed in court during trial. I don't know. Sarah said the reason that the suitcase was downstairs in the first place is because she and George were getting things together that they no longer used, and they were placing those items in the suitcase to give away. Okay? Now, if that's the case, where are those items? Because I'm assuming, since nothing was mentioned in the probable cause affidavit about about anything other than George being inside of that suitcase, and if we are taking Sarah at her word and what she says occurred, then where they must have had to take the stuff that they put in the suitcase out of the suitcase. Right? For the clothes or whatever it was they put in there came out and George got in. Where are those items? They're not, you see in the suitcase, you can see in the suitcase video, there's nothing laying near that suitcase other than a pair of flip-flops. That's it. That's all. So that's part of the reason why I don't think that the suitcase was downstairs. I think the suitcase was upstairs. How it came to be that George got into that suitcase, I don't know. Okay. Exactly, KPM. This is an excellent point. Why would they bring an empty suitcase from upstairs if they were going to fill it with clothes upstairs? That makes no sense. Right. I know what you meant. Why bring the suitcase downstairs if they were going to fill it with clothes from upstairs? So if they filled the suitcase with clothes, brought the suitcase then down the stairs, and that's where George got into it, then where are the clothes? Where are the things that were put in that suitcase in order for them to be given away? Right? That's why that makes zero sense. It's more likely that George, for whatever reason, this will probably be one of those circumstances, one of those things in the trial that doesn't get answered. And we're just going to have to, she said clothes, Neat Noodles. She said clothes and stuff that we no longer wanted. Anyway, my point being is that information coupled with what the neighbors say what they heard about something coming down those stairs so loudly that it shook their wall. I think that the suitcase started out upstairs, and when she's talking about I flipped it over, I think what she's saying is I think what happened is this. She pushed that suitcase down those stairs. Then, and it landed upside down. Then she took one video and I think a picture. I think she then flipped it and then she flipped it again. And the last time that the suitcase was flipped was when Sarah called 911. She flipped it right side up so that she could make it appear as if she was performing CPR on George. That's what I think happened. Now, Little Red says, let me ask you a question. Drunk or not drunk, would you willingly get into a damn suitcase and let someone zip it up? Does this sound like a sane person? Would I get into a suitcase and let somebody zip me up? Probably not. Probably not. But neither of them were sober. They had been drinking. And I don't know what Sarah is literally arguing that she did everything that a person would do before they prepare to go to bed for the night. And yet but she didn't intend to go to sleep. Even though she went upstairs, got into her PJs, brushed her teeth, got into the bed, laid down, covered herself up. It was an accident that she fell asleep. It's not like she woke up in the morning and the lights were still on in the bedroom. I mean, she prepared to go to bed and she fell asleep, period. So the thought process here is not rational so I don't know. And I can't honestly say. It would depend on who I was with. If it were somebody that I trusted, yeah. Would I trust somebody like Sarah Boone? Hell no. You can tell Sarah's got beef with George. They argue and fight all the time. Would I do that? Would I willingly get into a suitcase with somebody that I argue and fight with all the time? Hell no. You know? I wouldn't. I wouldn't. But I'm not them. I don't think that I think George got into that suitcase willingly. I do. I don't know under what circumstances. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know why he did it. I don't know why he thought it was a good idea or any of that, but he did. I do think that. And I think I think that what we see in that video is an angry woman who taunted him. She was angry with him. She, you know, she was inebriated and she was being vindictive. Do I think she thought he was going to die? No. Do I think she thought she was going to put the screws to him for a minute and let him suffer? I do. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether she, this is why she's being charged with second-degree murder and not first-degree murder, because I don't think that her intention when George got into that suitcase, even after she pushed him down the stairs, I don't think that she intended for him to die, but I do think she intended for him to suffer. But the end result is the same. He lost his life, and she has to be punished for that, period. That's just my opinion. All right, let's finish watching this part, because I like the part where they call her out on some of the things that she says to George. And then we'll watch this interview, a little bit of this interview real quick, and then we'll call it a night. Sound like a plan? Okie dokie, artichokes, here we go.
And him saying that he can't breathe, and you saying, fuck
So
you.
this is upside down. So in order for him to have gotten into it,
It was flipped up.
right, it was flipped up normal.
Yes.
Like as if you're packing something. So this is upside down.
Guys, this is killing me right now.
So this image is upside down, and then this small video that occurred 11 minutes later, it's flipped over the other way, closer to your dining room table.
Okay.
Now he's obviously still in there. So he didn't, how did it go from the back to the front?
I flipped it.
Okay.
My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep,
Oh,
Well, that's what you did.
Yeah.
but not intentional.
here we
No,
go.
you told me you went upstairs because
What?
you were
Stop
getting
here.
ready for bed.
Stopped here.
Okay, but
Where's here?
show me where you can see any fingers coming out, because there's the end.
And his head's right here.
Mm-hmm.
So going like this, rather than going all the way up, it's like this.
But why is he saying I can't breathe, and why is he pushing on it as if he can't get out?
And it doesn't show a hole.
There's no hole. There's no fingers. I don't see his fingers. There's no hole.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I don't know, like, what you want me to tell you.
I'm just telling you what we see and what we've heard from the other video.
I understand.
He's begging for you to let him out. You're laughing in the beginning, and then in the end, it sounds kind of like
No, it's not malicious.
Well, saying fuck you,
It's not malicious.
then what is that?
what does fuck you mean to you?
Well,
Like if I were to tell my
like he
partner,
does. Like, I get called everything but a white woman, so
Okay.
What does that have to do with
my
anything?
intention was not to leave him in there. Please understand that. My intention was not to leave him in there.
but you went upstairs thinking that he could get himself
Yes.
out, but the video shows
That he
That's
can't.
why I
at
told
point
you.
when I see his fingers, and
He'll be
it
up here
looks
any
like-
minute.
And then 30 minutes later, he didn't show.
And he's telling you
And I
he
didn't
can't
wake
breathe.
up.
Do you
He's
think
not
he's
able to get out.
joking? You told me he was laughing, and
We were
the
before.
video, there's no
When we first got in there, both of us were.
So how long was he in there for? Like, this video is at 11:12 when it starts, so was he in there for like a long time prior to
No.
recording this?
No.
So it goes from funny to no longer funny,
But
but
I
you're the
didn't,
only one laughing.
but I didn't think that he was,
Okay, here's another thing that I just noticed. See, this is why it's good to watch these things multiple times, okay? So remember how we were just discussing whether or not she knew that she recorded the video, okay? Well, the detective just asked her, was he in there for a long time before you recorded this? And she said no. So this is why I think she did know those videos were on her phone. Because she says, no. Well, if she didn't know those videos were on the phone, right? how would she be able to remember how long he was in the suitcase prior to her making that video to begin with? Does that make sense? Thank you, Blanca. Thank you for becoming a member. Welcome to the ward. And so that to me says she knew that those videos were on that phone. And I think in Sarah's warped mind, I think she took those videos because I think she thought this was some proof that this was all fun and games. Because otherwise, why would she take those? Why would she take that video in the first place? I get her taking the video, making the video, right? But why keep it on the phone? Oh, Blanca, you didn't have to do that. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. It was very generous. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm still going, AKA the cat lady. I can't, man, Boone does something to me. I don't know what it is. But you see my point? Like, why? Hey, Deadeye Danny, thanks for being here. Why would you keep that video? She was on her phone before she went downstairs, right? We don't know what she was looking at when she was on that phone. Okay. After Brian called her repeatedly to wake her up because it was her turn to go pick up Lucas and she had to be reminded. All right. And he said himself that she's not the most reliable person. And so he needed to be 100% sure that she was going to pick Lucas up. So in the morning, she gets up, she's on her phone, right? She goes downstairs. She sees that George is still in the suitcase. Why keep those videos? There was plenty of time for her to get rid of those videos, right? I do think that on some throwed off, warped, we've watched Sarah for how long now? And read reports, read her letters, watched her in court. See, I think some of the best evidence of who Sarah is and how she functions as a human being came in those moments when she was pro se, where she would ask a question of the judge, completely not listen to the answer, or be asked a question and not answer the question that was asked, or repeat something that wasn't actually said. Like her interpretation of the chain of events and the way what people say is way skewed. Way skewed. Well, listen, I think I know who Blair from Gossip Girl is, and I will take that as a compliment because there are some people who have said I look like Letitia, and I don't take that as a compliment at all. This is another issue. Why does the video stop? She flips him over and she takes another quick video. It's almost like she was, I don't know. We'll find out. If she deleted it and they found them in the download, then that will come up. Hey, Paula, good to see you. Good to see you. All right. And also you can hear, just in this exchange right here where they're asking her, what did you mean by fuck? They're not talking about any time and every time you use fuck you, right? They're talking about this moment. What did you mean when you said fuck you to George? Everybody, we all know that there's different times that fuck you has different meanings and it depends on the circumstances and what's going on. We all know that. Okay. Like I can be joking around, be like, hey, fuck you, and not really mean it. And then there's when you say it from your gut, which is what Sarah did in that video. But yet here she is trying to, act as if you know, to act as if she's going to explain her, like she doesn't understand the question. It reminds me of the interview with Jennifer Soto, the video interview where she's at the police station. She's the only one in the interrogation room. She's the only one being asked questions, and one of the detectives asks her something, and she says, "Who, me? No, Jennifer, the person that's sitting next to you on the interrogation couch. No, they're asking the roll of paper towels next to you. Yes, you." It reminds me of that. It's like buying time to think of an explanation. You know, like when you ask your kids a question and they say what in an effort to get you to repeat the question because they need time to think of a plausible story, like that. That's what she's doing. To me, that's what it reminds me of. So, okay. I think we've had enough of that. Let's see what is on this interview. And let me grab this link and put it in the chat for you guys. Here is the video that we're watching. And when the live is over, I will add it to the description. Let me just scroll through just a little bit so I can see right when, okay, this is when Tyler comes up. So we'll get it right before Tyler comes up. Okay, here you go. Here we go.
Or like Zoom. I always need other people to set up Zoom for me. I don't know. Can you call from within StreamYard?
I don't think you can.
Well, it's certainly not on my end.
There he is, Tyler.
Oh, you got it. Good.
Oh, hey, can
I'm
you
gonna
guys
mute
hear me?
myself.
I'm not sure if I can. Trying to hook
We
up my
hear
head.
you.
Okay, I'm trying to hook up my headphones the whole time. I apologize.
Tyler, you're the most exciting thing that's happened to me all day today.
Oh, good. I'm trying. Are you guys able to use your AirPods on here or no?
Yeah, I think so. Just depends on whatever device you're using.
I don't know why I'm answering him as if he can
when
hear
you're-
me.
When you're I mean, I have headphones that I use, but I'm on a laptop, so.
Okay,
But
well,
yeah.
I can't hook on my AirPods, so I can just talk through the phone. I'm sorry. I really have
No,
a hard time hearing.
You sound clear.
Okay, good. I have a hard time hearing, so I have my AirPods on all the time.
Oh, I get you. Okay. Well, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. I just wish I could hook up the AirPods. I'm sorry.
Well, if they'll hook up, then take your time doing that. We'll give you another minute because Sam just
Well,
came
yeah,
on.
let me try these AirPod Maxes one, and let's see if those hook up, because I'm using my iPhone. I'm not using my Max. I'm sorry. I just got home. So let me try this.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, ganging up on you on Zoom.
Oh. Oh.
You live
Yeah.
in the building that.
Sorry.
Sam, hang on. Sam, do you want to come on or off?
I'm fine. I'll just sit here mute and
Okay.
if you want
Okay.
me. Just
I
tell me.
didn't, if I took you off, I didn't mean to.
No,
Yeah,
I switched from my wireless. I just plugged my headphones into my laptop. That's all.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to put a picture because I just got home and I don't know how some people on YouTube, they take your photo and they throw it everywhere, just until I can get to know you guys more. Not that I'm lying or nothing. It's just,
I love this. He's betting us. I love this.
You're right.
No, it's
No.
cool.
Hold on
I'm
a
good.
second.
I know. I'm good with it. I get you.
Tyler, let me just say this. You are absolutely 100% correct to be apprehensive. Now I'll tell you, YouTube is a crazy place and shenanigans do occur. However, YouTube ain't got nothing on the TikToks. The TikToks is a lawless place.
No worries.
Yeah, because I always watch your videos, and that one time you were like live, and people were saying mean things.
Uh-oh. What
people
happened?
always say mean things. We just ignore them.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Oh, I think we lost you more.
All right, hold on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I don't know what
Okay,
happened.
Yeah, I walked away from the phone, and okay, so yeah, whatever you want to ask. I mean, I lived there for I would say a few years. But yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. When I keep watching the news and they said that, she was living there for years, the property manager, she was only living there for like a year and a half.
Okay, you know what I thought was interesting is the property manager, I think, said 2019, but I saw on something that it said 2017. And I know 2017 was when her divorce with her husband went through.
Well,
So
I have a funny story with Sarah, and whether you guys believe it or not.
We believe you, just tell it.
Okay, so I'm, when I was living there, I was separated with my ex-wife, and I was on multiple dating sites. But you guys remember a thing called Live Links? I don't know if you guys heard of that before.
Live links? No.
It's a dating site.
Okay. Oh, I think you're going out when you're walking away from your phone. Now you're back on, Tyler.
Yeah, I think it's the connection.
Okay. So it's a dating site?
Yeah, I was just saying that I was on multiple dating sites, and she was on one of the dating sites. I can't remember what she was on. She was on one of the dating sites in 2018 when I was meeting people, but I never messaged her. That's the whole reason I started a conversation with her, because I recognized her from the app.
OMG. Yikes on bikes, y'all. Can you even imagine what poor Tyler, what if he would have, I know Live Links doesn't do this, but it's only fun. What if he would have swiped right? I can't remember. I don't know. Is swipe right? Yes. Whichever one. Can you even imagine? Now, I'm going to finish watching this. This is, you guys, I put the link in the chat. I'm going to add it to the description. I want to hear what this guy has to say. But I'm not going to use her. I don't want to use her live like that. So, especially because, she doesn't know me and I don't want to do that. Anyway, so I'm going to leave it there. But I'm going to vet this, but and go listen, not vet this, go listen to this and hear what Tyler has to say. But let me say this. Let's say, for argument's sake, that this gentleman is exactly who he says he is. He lived where he says he lived. He does know these things, all right? He's being upfront and honest. How is it that he was able to find a channel to talk to on the YouTubes, but Mr. Owens and team can't find him? Because we're not PIs have access to things, to search engines, like, not like Google and stuff, but people finders that we don't typically have access to. They have other ways of finding people. It's literally their job to find people. This is why, I don't know, there's something very off-putting to me about Mr. Owens when he gets up and is about to make an argument and he talks about all the struggles he's having, and reminds everybody for the 11 billionth time that he came on late to this case. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I'm going to listen to this interview, but I want to thank you guys all very, very much for being here tonight. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you have not, could you please give your girl a thumbs up or thumbs down, whatever tickles your fancy. We're not picky here at the ward. Welcome to the new members. Thank you guys again for being here. I would like to remind you that I do intend to continue the trial rewind on the Menendez brothers. I will say this. I did watch the first episode of Monster, the Menendez brothers story on Netflix. And I must say, I think this is going to be a good series. I will, I'll need to watch the episodes at least a couple of times before I really feel like I've gotten all the things I'm supposed to get out of it. But I would encourage, I do really like Ryan Murphy, and I am, I'm only one episode in. I just barely started the second episode when it was time for the live. So I'm going to need to be about 3 episodes in before I am fully prepared to give my opinion on whether I like the direction the series is going or not. So there you have it. Yes, Ro, it's on now, the 19th. So thank you guys so very, very much for being here. I appreciate your support greatly. I couldn't do it without you. Anywho, thanks again. And I will, I know that for the people that love to hate listening to Letitia calls, Allie and I did put in a request some time ago, and we've received word that our order should be processed very shortly, soon. So hopefully we'll have something, and that might change the schedule, as it were, or I might just have to go live more. So brace yourselves. More Gen Lu coming. All right, you guys. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your night, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.